If you're new to the podcast community and you want to start a new podcast and you're looking for a platform that is user friendly, that has everything you need at your fingertips, that won't set any limits, that you can earn money, then I would recommend Anchor. Now, Anchor can be used basically anywhere. You could be in your car, you can be laying on the sofa in bed where you can edit, record, and upload. You can throw in soundtracks. Everything is there for you. Now, I use it because, it's user friendly and it is free, and I find it really easy to navigate without it being very confusing. Now, most platforms, before you can even try it out, you need to sign up and pick a plan. I like Anchor because I don't have to go through any of that. So I recommend it. Now, if you really want to get into it, I recommend you going to your website, anchor.fm, and, signing up. Or you can download anchor.fm from the Google Store, iTunes, and give it a try. So don't forget to go to anchor.fm, sign up, and I'll see you all in the podcast community. Hello, and welcome to the seance room, where we communicate with our dearly departed and the occasional annoying, frustrating, but friendly office ghost. The seance room is a place where we all come to discuss everything and anything under the paranormal umbrella. So stay with us, join hands, and enjoy the episode. Hey folks, welcome back. So tonight, I don't have a topic that I want to talk about, but I figured I'll go to my handy dandy backpacker verse and see what I can come up paranormal from there. And I came up with this interesting story. Now, if you listen to my episode on Black Star Canyon, I got that one also from the backpacker verse. So you can find them on, I believe, Twitter and Facebook. So in this episode, we talk about, at Hotel Settles, you'll see blinking ghosts in the stairwell. Now, the actual name of the hotel is called Hotel Settles. It takes place in, I believe, Texas? I think Texas. So let's get into the story. Now, despite the ongoing national financial crisis, the community of Big Spring became the location of the new hotel during the Ernie? Oh my lord. Denise, get with it. During the early 1930s. That sounds better. The hotel was extensive and lavish and quickly became the talk of the town. Well, it would be the talk of the town if it's a new place and, it's the only one in town and people go, it would become the talk of the town. However, many people started checking into the hotel with a single sinister purpose. Woo! Hotel Settles is a luxury hotel of Big Spring. Now, the Great Depression was hitting, and it was well underway, and it had no end in sight. Many people began to check into the Hotel Settles to commit suicide. I didn't know that. So this episode may be triggering for those that have been through suicides or attempted suicide. So please be forewarned. This may be triggering. This may have stuff that may trigger you. And the last thing I want to do is trigger anybody. So this episode may not be for you. So please heed the warning. So over the next couple decades, oh Lord have mercy. Okay, over the next couple decades, the hotel lost some of its appeal and closed down due to financial struggles. Happens as time goes by. Money's tight, so the building sat empty for many, many years. That is until 2012, when an extension renovation began. As construction crews and designers meticulously, God, I butchered that word, restored the hotel to its former lavish glory, they unwittingly woke up many spirits within the very walls of the building. See, this is what happens. And I've encountered it. A friend of mine did a remodel and in an old Victorian house, and I kept telling him, dude, don't do anything. This is an old house. I'm getting the vibe. My spidey senses are telling me don't mess with it. And did he listen? No. Did his remodel, and in the process of doing his remodel, his tools, his equipment, his keys, things just started to vanish and appear in different locations. And my famous words to him was, "I told you so." Now getting back to the story. Sorry, sidetrack. As guests began to check into the hotel, many of them started reporting seeing apparitions of people in period clothing wandering around the hallways, even in some of the rooms themselves. Teresa, a local paranormal enthusiast, just like me, became very excited when she heard that the onslaught of paranormal activity at the local hotel. She had been wanting to begin her own paranormal investigation team, and she figured Hotel Settles was the perfect place to begin. I was still trying to recruit people for the group at that point, and while I wasn't exactly pleased with the idea of checking out the hotel by myself, I knew collecting evidence could possibly gain me new members, she reasoned. So I walked into the hotel and started exploring each floor. It was Monday evening, so there weren't a lot of people around. Now, as I walked up and down the hall, I got this sudden, inexplicable urge to go to the top floor of the hotel. I hate those feelings. I just hate them. Like they're pulling you to go somewhere. I hate those feelings. Oh, Lord, I hate them. And I'm not sure why, Teresa said, shaking her head. But since I planned on going through the whole thing, it really didn't make any difference. I rode the elevator up, and at the moment I stepped foot on the floor, I felt suddenly uneasy. Yep, I've felt that before. I turned and looked all the way toward one end of the hotel, and seated in the window was a man. He had a suit on, but something about the fabric and style of it made me realize it wasn't some trendy modern suit. I've had that also happen to me. It had seen better days. I must have been 70 feet or so away when I made eye contact with the man. Yeah, I don't do eye contact. I don't like making eye contact. Because then they know that you see them and then they don't go away. Yeah, no, I don't do that. Something about his expression and the aura around him gave me the chills. Duh. And then he pushed himself off the ledge and plummeted out the window, she murmured, getting teary-eyed. Naturally, I cried out for help and ran to the window. I looked down, but I couldn't see anything. See, those type of spirits, those type of ghosts that look so real, and then they do something and then you go and you look and it's not there, those are the ones that make me do the double take. Those are the ones that make me do like, what? I have a story about that, but I'll tell that later. Hold on. I lost my place. Okay, there I am. Still, I knew I had to get help, so I turned on my heels and found an exit sign that led to the stairwell. Yeah. The moment the door closed behind me, I knew something was terribly wrong, Teresa whispered. All over the stairwell were people hanging from the ropes tied to the ceiling. Yep. Their pale, ghostly faces just blinked and stared at me as I cried and shrieked, overwhelmed by what I was seeing. Oh yeah, that's the scary part. So you go somewhere and you see it and you don't know if it's real or if it's in a loop or if it's a figment of your imagination. That stuff is the scary part. And again, I've encountered that, and it's difficult to kind of figure out what's going on. Their pale, ghostly faces, again, just blinked and stared at me, and I cried and shrieked, overwhelmed by what I was seeing. Hotel security found me 10 minutes later in a state of psychosis. I had to be escorted out the big spring and sent to the nearest psych ward for evaluation. I haven't been the same since, she said. Now, there are a couple, I guess, readers who left some comments. There was Diana Villarreal. She said staying on the 9th floor and there's nothing, and nothing went to all floors including 14th, which is locked. Did not feel anything. Went on staircase. Again, old hotels, hotels that had tragic past, it's just like the suicide forest in Japan. It holds a lot of energy. And I've been to locations that have a shitload of energy, and it just makes you kind of think, is that a real person or is that a ghost or a spirit? Like Idaho State Penitentiary. I literally had to do double takes because what I was seeing, what my brain was telling my eyes, and my eyes was registering back to my brain, made me think for a split hot second that was a person and a dog. And in reality, there was no person and there was no dog. So I've encountered a lot of locations where it is very active, and you kind of have to remember that there's a lot of things going on, especially when you remodel a place and you bring it up to date, or you're restoring it to its glory, that may trigger those who have passed away there. For example, the Queen Mary. Luxury liner. became the gray ghost during the war, traveling hospital. Then became a luxury liner till it got docked in Long Beach. It became a hotel with a restaurant, and weird things started happening. So you have to take into consideration every time you do a remodel or every time you do something to a home, no matter, how old it is, there's a probability that you may awaken something and not knowing you do it. So it's just people find it difficult to understand. And I get it. It's not the easiest. You want to remodel your house. My friend moved into a Victorian, like I said, and he wanted to remodel it. Wonderful. Kudos to him. But at the same time, I told him not to do it. Because just the vibe from the place told you not to do it. And he just didn't listen. And till this day, he has a lot of activity going on in his house, and he's come to live with it. I've told him, be very clear, very adamant, set barriers, And sometimes it's difficult. He finally finished remodeling it. He removed walls, rearranged staircases. So, there are a couple times where, he sees a spirit go through a wall and you do double take because it's not going through the wall, it's going through a hallway. It's doing, and it knows the old layout. So, it was like, oh my God, the ghost went through the wall. Well, it didn't. Yes, it went through a wall, but it used to be a hallway, so it doesn't see it as a wall. It sees it as a hallway because it's going through a loop. It keeps moving in, or it's doing what it remembers. This is a hallway, so I'm going to go through here. This is a hallway. Again, one doesn't know what they're thinking. One doesn't know what they were doing at the time of their death. Excuse me. So it's just, you have to approach with caution. Now, this hotel, it kind of reminds me of the Roosevelt a little bit. I think it was the Roosevelt that had the top floor that caught on fire. I think it was a Roosevelt. And it also reminds me of the Suicide Forest, Akihara Forest at the foot of Mount Fuji, where they've captured spirits coming out of the forest at night. They've done ghost hunts and they've caught images of people walking out and disappearing. So I don't blame the ghost because they were disturbed because it was their home. But at the same time, be aware of what you're doing, If it has a history of darkness, death, suicides, hangings, murders. Chances are, if you do a remodel or you do something to change it, you're gonna wake all that up again. And then you're gonna have people, bringing it to your attention. Hey, this is happening. And again, some people may do it for entertainment purposes. Hey, there's like a ton of murders that happened here. Let's remodel. And maybe we'll get activity and guests will see it and this and that. So, people do it intentionally, and some people do it because the building or the location needs to be remodeled for safety reasons. So it, like I said, it just depends. I personally would do things differently, but then again, I don't own a haunted hotel or a haunted home. I believe there is a plantation home in Georgia. I believe. Don't quote me on this, but come on, get up. Sorry, my dog is crying. He wants to be petted. Getting back to the story. That the owners had remodeled and removed some walls and added some walls and removed and blocked off certain areas of that house. And they started to hear footsteps and doors opening and a lot of chatter. And it turns out that the back end of the house, the end of the house that they blocked off to make like a separate home, like an add-on for like a private suite, was the servants' quarters. And when they were making all this remodeling and changing and just knocking down and building up, they had awoken a lot of the old tenants that lived in that house. So I would say be very careful, because you don't really know what you're getting yourself into. Yes, you want to make your house beautiful. Yes, you want to do all this stuff. But at the same time, know the history. Be careful, because you may open a door to something that you can't control, and you may not be able to handle or deal with. So, just be careful, And again, I apologize. My dog is crying and there's extra noise in the background that apparently they don't give two fucks that I'm doing an episode. And they don't care that I'm being recorded. I'm in the bedroom, but you can still hear the background. So I apologize for all the extra noise that you hear. People don't listen, and it annoys me. And it makes me very angry that I'm trying to provide episodes for my fan base, for people who want to hear. And I can't, because people are being idiots at home. All right, folks, I'll let you all go. Have you ever wanted a podcast that is multifaceted? That your hosts are cool and down to earth. They talk about everything under the sun, including the kitchen sink. But they also are real.
you know? Well, let me tell you about table muscles. Now, Rob and Wolf are co-hosts, and Rob is a good friend of mine. They have a really cool podcast that, like I said, covers everything. They do conspiracy theories. They do shout outs. They support an organization or an awareness for the month. If you are going through a rough time, they make themselves available. You can hit them up with a direct message on Insta, their Facebook page. I don't know if they have a Twitter yet. But they're really cool podcast. Two really down-to-earth guys that keep it real. They're there for you. They talk about a lot of different things. So their podcast has a little bit of everything. Make sure you go check them out. It's Table Muscles. They're on every platform. They're on social media. Let them know that Ms. Hyde from What the Paranormal sent you. And go show them some love and support. They're fairly new, but, let's show our support. And they have a little bit of everything, so, they may have topics that you really enjoy. So go take a listen and see what they have. Don't forget, they're called Table Muscles, and they're on social media, and they are on all the podcast platforms. And don't forget to tell them that Miss Hyde from What the Paranormal sent you over.
Thank you for joining us in the seance room. I hope you enjoyed the episode today. And I would like to thank all our new listeners, all our current listeners, and all our future listeners for joining us. With that being said, please like, share, and subscribe our podcast. We are on all platforms from Apple to Spotify to castbox, soon to be iHeartRadio. So you can probably find us on all podcast platforms. If you have any stories you'd like to share, please go ahead and email us at whattheparanormal1977@gmail.com. We'll take a look at your story and we'll read it. If you would like to follow us on social media, we are on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also leave us a message via the Anchor app. The link will be listed below. And with that being said, we close the seance room. And we hope you all have a good day and keep it ghosting.